The following is a presentation of the Black Hollywood Live Network, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. Hollywood Redefined. From Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly, featuring weekly in-depth interviews with some of today's most talked about athletes. Black Hollywood Live, Hollywood Redefined.
You're listening to Black Hollywood Live.
And now, the host of Black Hollywood Live, Black Sports Weekly.
Ho,
Are you spinning a basketball?
Take it back to the old school. Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, sports fans. Welcome to another week of Sports Weekly on BHL. I'm your host, Thaddeus Massey, and joining me today is...
Ladies first.
I'm Charlotte Broadbent.
And I'm Kevin John. I'm so happy to be here with you guys.
You guys are fighting
really
over
am.
who's going to introduce each other. Look at it. That's the camaraderie we have in this
We were
this room.
both being
Too
very
kind.
polite. Yeah.
Exactly. We were fighting
Yeah.
over who's going to be the kindest.
Who's the kindest?
Yeah.
No, I'm going to be the kindest. Next thing you know, it turns into a fight. Anyway.
Got to be chivalrous.
Right.
Yep.
Right. It's still alive. It's still alive.
Holla.
Chivalry still lives. So, some interesting things going on in the sports world today. We're going to talk about Tony Stewart and what's going on with him. We're going to talk about some controversial statements or a controversial statement that Stephon Curry made. And we're going to talk about that guy who is throwing crazy balls over in the northern part of California, Oakland A's Lester. Over there doing his thing for the Oakland A's. So, let's start off with this Tony Stewart story. Hubba bubba. This situation is really sucks all the way around. What do you guys feel regarding whether or not he's going to be, brought up on criminal charges? Trying to prove intent in a situation like this is kind of...
Well, there's video footage that obviously is going to be picked apart
Yeah.
and zoned in on certain points where his wheels shift and go toward he's 20 years old. 20 years old. It's so young to lose a life, but the fact that Tony Stewart has now, he's withdrawing again this Sunday from a NASCAR event.
Right.
I think this shows, I don't know if it's more protecting his name that he's withdrawing, or he knows that this is really serious. He tweeted a year ago, right before he went back and did this event, he tweeted like a year ago about the 2013 crash where I think it was 9 or 12 cars that got into a collision, and said that he tweeted a year on saying that thank you guys for helping me, thank you to the fans. Basically that was an eye-opening event for him because he was driving too aggressive, he was being too aggressive, and he wasn't acting he was acting too aggressive for what he was supposed to be doing.
Right.
Yeah, the way I look at it is, first of all, I guess to answer your initial question, I believe it's highly unlikely that criminal charges will be brought upon him because the nature of the sport and also the, the irresponsibility of the guy, Mark, what was his name again, that unfortunately got run over? What was it?
Kevin Ward Jr.
Kevin Ward Jr., yeah. The fact that, he was in harm's way walking across the track.
Right.
So it'd be highly unlikely. Go ahead, Charlotte.
But that's something that is common and known in this sport that people do. It's people get out of the car and want to confront and flag down the car. Yes, it's dangerous and you're putting yourself at risk, but that doesn't stop. I don't know if there's going to be know if there's going to be criminal charges because it looks from the video that he put his foot down. He put his foot on the accelerator. He wanted to give, and it's haunting if this is the message that he wanted to give the young kid, but he seems that he wanted to give him kind of a warning, like, don't mess with me.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, that was not a warning. That was a death sentence he gave that kid. And, the thing is, you do raise a good point because if you look on the video, you will see other drivers that did avoid him.
Right.
When Kevin was walking across, there were other drivers that clearly avoided him and got out of his path. Tony Stewart, you're one of the best drivers in the world. That's what you do for a living. You mean to tell me you cannot avoid something that you're going to hit? So I understand the argument and debate. Well, it looked like it was deliberate that he ran into him and he
I'm
accelerated.
not saying it was deliberate, just to
Right, you're just saying what it looks like on the video, and you
but-
kind of have to analyze the tape, and you have to go based on what you see because that's all we have to go on, right?
But-
You can't speculate what his intent was.
Exactly.
Because we don't know what was going on in his head at that moment.
Exactly, and that's what I was going to say. That it's going to be extremely difficult to prove that in court that it was his intent to hit Kevin Ward. That he intentionally was going to do that. You could say that he was driving erratically. You could say that he was driving recklessly, but you cannot prove that his intent was to hit Kevin and kill him. So the only charges that I heard that can potentially be brought up was like a second-degree manslaughter,
right.
Yeah, or something of that sort, where it's not your intent to kill, but you still, you still took the life.
Well, here's going to be the other argument. You got guys that drive for a living.
Yeah,
this is what they do.
Right.
So it's kind of like a fighter who has to register their fists as weapons. You can't just go around getting into street fights, because now the level it's on a whole nother level. If you get into a street fight, you actually have deadly weapons. Your hands are considered deadly weapons. Or like somebody who's a football player or a baseball player who does this for a living. You take a rock and throw it at somebody, you can probably say they're probably going to be a little more accurate than somebody who just picks up a rock and throws it at somebody, because they throw things for a living.
Yeah.
Professionally, they get paid a lot of money to do this. So that's going to be part of the argument. Like, you couldn't control the car. You would always, the thought will be, well, if he was just trying to scare him and the car kind of went in that direction and he hits the guy, well, it's like...
Okay, there's a million and one ways you could scare someone versus having contact with your vehicle in them.
Right.
All right.
No, I agree. I completely agree with you.
Man.
But that's what I'm saying. It's going to be hard to prove as a professional driver that you couldn't have more control than hitting this guy on the road. So it's going to be kind of tough for him. I think one of the reasons they're bowing out of some of these other competitions is because you need the PR factor to die down.
Yeah.
You definitely have, because the public opinion, the court of public opinion can put you in the slammer.
Well, yeah, I mean, it sounds like the court of public opinion already kind of assassinated his character,
right,
for what transpired. So,
but I think that it's because he has a history of being an aggressive driver.
That also is part of it.
It's not just, this isn't the first case that's happened. There's previous things that have shown that he has been driving too aggressively for what he's doing. He doesn't need to be as aggressive as he is, and I think he was just trying to prove a point. Stay out of my way. For no reason think that he would want to kill this guy. I don't think that was even a thought, but I think he wanted to scare him, get a little close to him, but obviously it didn't, because you would think that you would have more control and would know what he was doing,
right,
and know that he couldn't get that close. But for him to be taken under the wheel, which is what happened, he didn't expect that.
Yeah, and you bring up a good thing, talking about going back to his history and his past, and if it is brought into court, or if there's the DA is currently trying to bring up charges, that's the first thing they're going to do, is they look at your history, they look at your past to see, okay, is this habitual behavior? Is this something that has happened before? And if it is so, then that doesn't look too good for him, because it shows that, he has a history of being aggressive, and he could have did that intentionally. So it'll be interesting. But back to this whole scaring thing, I understand you want to scare the driver, send a message, but damn, Tony,
but his aggression
there's another way to do it.
His aggression has historically been against other drivers, right, on the road. And now being an aggressive driver with other people that are in cars themselves and they're competing with you is...
Which technically
totally
he shouldn't even be that angry with Kevin Ward Jr. I mean, what did he was the one? Kevin was the one that should have been angry, and obviously was. But why was Tony Stewart angry?
I think Tony Stewart was angry because, to my understanding, there was a history between the both of him and Kevin Ward prior to this particular event.
Right.
And I know, obviously, what motivated Kevin Ward's anger was the fact that Tony Stewart had cut him off, I think, on the track.
Exactly. So that shows why Ward was angry. But
yeah, like I said, I heard there was a history between the both of them earlier that just kind of carried on to this. You could check the facts on that, but I understand why. But, regardless, it's sad now. I guess the next question is NASCAR, are they going to reprimand Tony Stewart? Is there going to be some kind of penalty? Like in football, if a player does something, or, the commissioner will hand down a punishment.
Right.
How does it work in NASCAR? Like,
that's a
will
good
he
question.
Be penalized?
That's a good question. I mean, I'm not sure who regulates NASCAR as far as when it comes to behavioral issues or codes of conduct. But it'll be very interesting to see how they step up and handle this situation. What their 2 cents is going to be, if they're going to levy any kind of fine against him,
Exactly.
if they're going to just impart some kind of punishment just to rectify. I mean, you can't really rectify a death like in this manner, but they can only do what they can do. Kind of like the Donald Sterling thing. They levied the maximum fine against him, which is $2.5 million, even though it's like a drop in the bucket, but it was the maximum.
That's a penny for Donald Sterling.
Right, but it's the maximum that they're allowed to do. So it'll be interesting to see if the powers that be at NASCAR are going to actually do anything, if they're going to actually, get more involved, or they're going to hope it dies down. I don't know what their PR, department is doing regarding the situation, because they're
under a lot of scrutiny right now.
Yeah, they are under a lot of scrutiny, and the laws of the state are just kind of clear when it comes to recklessness and the loss of life.
And what state did that occur in again?
I believe it was New York, right?
It was New York. Okay, I know somewhere in the east. I forgot which.
I believe it was New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So
New York don't play.
You're right. I mean, Plaxico shot himself in the leg and went to jail
for 2 years.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the state where you shoot yourself by accident and go to jail. That's pretty serious. So who knows what's going to happen with this situation with Tony Stewart? It's just really it's kind of sad all the way around. Not kind of. It's sad. Well, it's tragic.
You think this is not the first time that someone has lost their life in NASCAR or racing?
Definitely not.
This is not the first time the sport has seen it, but I just think in this fashion and the way that it happened is what's really,
and being
raising
so
the
high
eyebrows.
profile.
Yes.
Like such a high profile driver.
Yeah.
Exactly. So.
Well, we'll
thoughts
wait
and
to
prayers
see.
out to the family.
Yeah,
Exactly.
I don't know.
I think that's the main thing. At the end of the day, it's a kid that's 20 years old that was so passionate about this. Did this? I think he said he's been doing this since he was like 10 or something like that. So more than anything, it's sad that a life is lost, and parents have to grieve this the rest of their life. So
I hope that that his PR team and himself, steps up and publicly takes more.
He needs to publicly address.
Has he made a statement yet?
No.
Yeah, I don't believe there has been.
Oh
one.
yeah, he definitely.
Yeah, he needs to step up and just, in the forefront, just say like, look, obviously apologize and show a high level of remorse and send his, regards to the family, and then maybe do a little bit more publicly, not just for his image, but just because.
Yeah. Just
because it's like, dude.
The memorial for Ward was last night.
It was, yeah.
And I wouldn't have been surprised. I mean, yes, no one wants to see Tony Stewart there, but some kind of, I don't know, just some
compassion,
just something where he acknowledged that it was going on.
Yeah, I mean, I think more than any, that's a good thing you raised, but I think Ward's family at this time probably don't want to hear anything from Stewart's camp, and probably don't want, any kind of communication. And I understand it would have been a nice thing for him to do, but I think he's pretty much been blacklisted from communicating with the Wards, at least until this whole thing plays out.
Yeah, but that doesn't alleviate his responsibility, regardless if they want to hear from him or not. They're doing the right thing comes first.
Yeah.
And him apologizing or doing whatever he needs to do to say, look, I understand you're hurting, I understand you're grieving. This was total accident. I
think he sent out a tweet. I can check.
At the end of the day, it doesn't matter how bad he feels or how whatever. Someone's child, someone's family member is dead as a result of whatever reckless behavior, intentional or unintentional, happened. So it's his responsibility to say something. Of course they don't want to hear from him because they're grieving, but he still has an obligation to do it. He still has an obligation to show remorse. He still has an obligation to ask for forgiveness, regardless of whether he was intentional or not. It still happened as a result of him. So he needs to step up and do that. And that's having character. That's being a man.
Yep.
Yeah.
You got to take ownership of your actions.
Exactly.
Take ownership.
I agree.
Be accountable. Anyway, I hope it all works out for everybody, and our hearts go out to the Ward family from Sports Weekly here at BHL. Let's talk about something a little lighter, but it might not be so light for basketball fans who are big fans of this guy. Oh, that's an amazingly airbrushed shot of him. He's glowing, looking like an angel.
That is.
Stephon Curry. Look at you. Notice that? He's looking good. Looking good there, Stephon. We got you looking good there, boy. Get looking good there, boy. Boy.
The nice Thunder jersey.
Nice Thunder. But he made a controversial statement. And Kevin John, would you like to go over what that controversial statement was?
Well,
before the Heat fans are gonna start calling in and go in on us. We're just reporting the news. Okay.
Yeah, I'm about to say maybe the Cleveland fans are going to call in and report on this now, but
I'm sure he still got some fans back in Miami. He brought him some rings. I'm sure he got some fans back there still.
That is very true. That is very true. Well, there's three things in sports that you do not do.
Right.
One, you don't call out Michael Jordan.
Right.
Two, you do not call out Tom Brady. Three, you do not call out LeBron James. All right?
Oh my God!
And
Did you really wait? Did he just really put LeBron James in the same category as Tom Brady and Michael Jordan?
Absolutely, I put him because LeBron James has eclipsed himself amongst one of the greatest ever to do it in his respective sport.
And who was that?
I think Magic said the other day that LeBron is the most gifted and talented player ever to play in the NBA. He didn't say the best. He just said the most gifted and talented player ever is LeBron James.
I would have to agree with that.
Yeah.
I would have to agree that LeBron James is probably the best physical athlete to ever step on a basketball court. Now, when it comes to skill level, that's another subject.
That's where Jordan will take the cake on that.
Right. Jordan actually takes the cake, and then we have Kobe. Who was debatably a close second or first, depending on if you're a Laker fan or Chicago Bulls fan or whatever the case may be. Yeah. But LeBron James is by far, it was like God touched him, and he's just, that kid is, or young man, he's very, very, extremely physically gifted.
I'll put it like this. When you're in the 4th grade and doing 360 dunks on a 10-foot regulation hoop, I think it's best to say that God gave you a little something special when you were born.
Yeah.
But anyways.
You had to remind us of that, didn't you?
4th grade, what is that?
Yeah.
So anyways.
That's crazy.
His kids, I'm assuming, if they get that DNA, will be insane. Because apparently Michael Jordan's kids didn't get it. So anyways.
They get the shoes for life, though.
I'm about to say,
That's a nice consolation prize.
They are good to go. By the way, no shade thrown to MJ's kids. They were talented.
Yeah, one of them played college ball, actually.
Yeah, Division II or something like that.
Yeah, he still went college ball. Yeah.
Marcus, I think.
Yeah, Marcus Jordan.
All right, we're getting way off topic.
Right.
But at any rate, Stephen Curry did one of the 3 things in sports you're not supposed to do, which is he called out LeBron James. And he said that he is the best offensive player in the league. And they asked him, the person who was doing the interview, I forgot his name, had asked him about LeBron, and he did say that, yes, offensively, I believe I am better, if not the best in the league.
You can't knock him. You can't. You have to believe you're the best to be the best. You can't. You can't.
Do the numbers kind of? Does the numbers support?
You can always go to stats. And
you always go to stats. I mean, the numbers show that he led James this past season in assists. What, 8.5?
3-point percentage.
Right. 3-pointers. Yeah, he also led in that. And I think he also led was it just 3-point field goals or regular field goals as well?
It was 3-point field goals, I believe.
Okay, but LeBron James had the edge in points per game.
Which is the most important when you're going offense. He said he has the greatest offense. How do you determine offense? It's points per game.
Curry is a beast, this guy. For him to say that he believes he's better, I'm not going to knock you, Curry. I'm not going to knock you, boy. If you think you're better than LeBron James, go right ahead. And he does have some numbers to support that. So...
And it's all strategic. He's getting ready to go into this coming up season. He wants to put some... He just wants to shake everything up a bit.
Right.
He had a great season last season. He was one of the people that couldn't be stopped. He could not be stopped. When he was on that court for the Warriors, it was there was games where he was just shooting 3 points.
Oh, he's killer from behind the arc.
Yeah.
Lights out.
The one thing about Stephon Curry also is, and this is the one thing that he said he demands a lot of attention. He obviously demands a lot of attention on the floor, but I like to say I can distribute, get my teammates involved, and be a playmaker as well. Now, the essence behind that quote is basically saying a really, really good player can perform well on his own, but a great player can make the players around him better.
Yeah.
And that is actually what Michael Jordan did. Michael Jordan started off as a really, really, really talented, really good player. But Michael Jordan became a great player because he made the players around him better. And you saw him make that transition in his career where Stephon, am I saying his name right? Stephen, or is it Stephon? Stephon, right? Okay. Stephon, yeah. Stephon, I think he kind of has that element to his game already because of the nature of his game. He kind of helps his teammates better and improve their game because he kind of a floor general. He distributes the ball. He makes plays. LeBron is kind of a one-man show. As far as I'm concerned, LeBron doesn't really make his team better. He helps them win games, but he doesn't make them better players because of his style of play. I think that he's just so dominant that when he goes in and plays and he does his thing, it really doesn't. His style of play doesn't really help the rest of the players around him get better, like a Stephon or a Jason Kidd or a Magic Johnson or what Michael Jordan ended up becoming. Kobe, for like maybe 3 seasons, that played like that. Made the players around him better. But I don't know. You can, I can roll with this statement. I'm fine with it.
Yeah, quick thing. First of all, that picture that we showed with Stephon and a Thunder jersey, just that one right there, just so you know, that is not an exclusive, guys. He did not get traded to the Thunder. He is still with the Golden State Warriors. Yeah. He is still with the Golden. Just want to make, if any fans are watching, like, oh my God, and this breaks like on ESPN news, that we just want to make sure that he is on the Golden State Warriors right now. He's not on the Thunder, but he does look great in a Thunder jersey, that's for sure.
And I believe he has one of the top 5 selling jerseys in the NBA as well.
He does.
Yeah.
Yeah. And, I was going to say in regards to the whole LeBron James thing and making your team around you better, the problem is with LeBron, whenever he does try to sit back and include his team more, that's when he gets negatively scrutinized. Oh, he's taking plays off. Oh, he's not being as aggressive. Oh, he's not being as dominant and things of that sort. So I've seen him try to include his team more in his style of play, but it doesn't always play the best out for him.
Right.
And my last statement is in regards to Stephon saying he's the best offensive player in the league, kind of like you said earlier, Thaddeus. I agree with that. It's kind of like if they ask Brandon Marshall who the best receiver is in football, and he's like, well, first Larry Fitzgerald, then Calvin Johnson, then... No, you're going to say, if you're really that competitive, you think it's you. Why is Stephon Curry going to be like, well, I think I'm maybe the 30th best in the league, and you're supposed to be a superstar on your team, you know? I think it's and you don't have to be cocky or arrogant, i.e. Richard Sherman, about it. You could just say, look, I believe that I'm the best to do it at my position, So I endorse the statement. Now, the stats tell a different story, but I still endorse his confidence in saying that.
I concur. With Kevin John on that one. I like the Richard Sherman you threw in there. I don't really consider Richard Sherman cocky or arrogant, but that's...
You don't?
No, I really don't. But see, to me,
how?
Being a former football player, you have to, he just happened to say something on camera that half of the guys in the league have that attitude. And you have to, because it's a very hands-on sport.
But only some people would say it on camera.
Exactly.
Yeah, but why not? That's just being true.
You won't hear Peyton Manning after the game saying, I was throwing touchdowns on them like it was nothing. It was easy.
Yeah, but you got to remember there's so much going on behind the scenes that we don't see, with guys talking smack to each other.
And he's big-headed. We'll just leave it at that.
With people downplaying your play and what you do. And then when you finally show them what you do and that you're actually proving up, it's like, yeah, I told him, like I told you, blah, 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 yada, yada, yada.
But it shows a certain type of person to be able to say it on camera.
That's true.
Only certain people would do that, and that's people that do have somewhat of a chip on their shoulder, that know that they can say that and not get, there's going to be backlash, but not a whole ton of backlash, because...
Well, you got to also remember, he played for an underdog team. The Seattle Seahawks, nobody ever saw Seattle Seahawks going to the Super Bowl, winning the Super Bowl. So I think, to a certain degree, he was kind of the heart of that team to a certain degree in the locker room. Like, we're good, and we're going to show all these you-know-whats out there that we can compete, and we're one of the best. That's our first Super Bowl win, right?
Yeah.
That says a lot. And they've never been... the favorites ever. The Seattle Seahawks have never been.
They really. I think this year they're the favorites.
Yeah, this year, but not ever in history have they been before.
Yeah, well, actually, last year they were rated. I think the top 3 coming into the season.
They were. I just mean in the big picture of football, like the last 20 or so years. No one's considering the Seattle Seahawks a franchise that, I want to go win a Super Bowl with the Seattle Seahawks.
Exactly.
So the fact that they're there now and he contributed and he's played and his team has performed, I think he's speaking for everybody.
I agree. But like Charlotte, I also do believe that's what separates the football players or athletes that do have class and professionalism and know when to say certain things and when to not.
Right.
And then those football players that are just unfiltered and will just say whatever. And I'm glad that he spoke his mind at that particular point in time.
Right.
But I'm just saying how it came off to the rest of the world that was watching it. Like this arrogant a-hole. And then also the fact that I am a 49ers fan just made it even more worse, you know? But I respect his game. Obviously, he's one of the most talented cornerbacks in the league.
I respect his game, and he knows how to dress too. That guy he dresses sharp. So I got to give Richard Sherman some props. And he went to Stanford, so he's a pretty smart guy, I'm sure.
Right.
Anyway, let's move on to the next topic. Let's talk about John Lester for the Oakland A's. This guy is performing his little tushy off.
Yes.
And I think just going through some of the adversity that he's gone through and getting to where he is, I think you have a different perspective on something that you get to enjoy, make so much money doing it, having a good time playing professional. I mean, this is America's pastime, baseball. So he overcame cancer, and now he's
22.
At 22 years old.
That's right. Yeah.
Going through something like that really can change your outlook on life.
Your whole demeanor.
Your whole demeanor. Everything about you would change, and it's obviously affecting his performance in a good way.
Yeah, no, I agree. And plus, one thing I mentioned with Lester is he actually just was traded from the Red Sox. And to be able, after a trade, to have that kind of impact on your new team, when obviously Red Sox and Athletics are still in the American League, so you're still facing some of the same competition, but still, to be able to have the impact, the instantaneous impact, and to be able to be a lights-out pitcher, attest to his abilities.
Definitely. And, I mean, he is to find a better pitcher from a free agent, you have to go back to 1998, Kevin Brown. I mean, the fact that you have to go back that far.
Name.
Yeah, I remember him.
I mean, he's taken a chance. He's taken a chance on himself.
Right.
He's a free agent. He chose to turn down. It was a $70 million deal with the Red Sox that they offered during spring training. And the fact that he turned that down, he relied on himself as a pitcher. I mean, and you have more. You tend to get more problems when you're a pitcher with your elbow, and there's more risk.
Right.
So for him to take the chance on himself to go into the free agency, to then be doing what he's doing with the A's, I mean, he led the Red Sox to a world championship last year. Can he potentially do that for the A's this year?
What do you think, Kevin?
Well, you got to look at the A's. A's right now have the second best record. Someone look that up for me, please. But I believe they have the second best record in baseball. They're leading their division.
Yep.
I know them and the Royals just had a 3-game, to determine, I think, the best team in the AL in the American League. But the A's already are a contender for to go heavy in the postseason and possibly the World Series. So now that you have Lester on there, I'd say without a doubt, unequivocally, he can easily carry them to a World Series. And we all know Oakland hasn't even seen a World Series since, I believe, 90 or 91.
Right.
So it's been a while. It's been a long time. It's been a drought.
They're hungry.
It has been a while, and I like what Charlotte mentioned about him kind of like blowing off the $70 million offer that he had, that spring training offer that I think the Red Sox offered him. $70 million is a lot of money over 4 years. But, that's not one of the top three. The top three guys are making way more than that, like $100 million more than that.
Clayton Kershaw's making like $240 million.
Right.
The other left-handed pitcher.
Justin Verlander's making $180 and Felix Hernandez $175. I mean, this is a lot of money that he like. Okay, I'll take my talents elsewhere, and he believes in himself, obviously. So those perspectives, I think, from some of the things he's gone through, is helping him perform.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely.
I agree. I 100% agree, and I hope. I'm from NorCal, so I'm definitely rooting for the A's. And
not the Giants.
I mean, I like the Giants as well, but see, the thing is, you kind of got to pick one or the other when you live in the Bay Area. It's like you can't be a both.
So Oakland A's, San Francisco Giants. I mean, San Francisco 49ers.
But the funny thing is, yeah, I'm a 49ers fan and not an Oakland Raiders fan. So, you know, I switch it when it comes to football.
Well, with the Raiders' predicted scores, I think it's a good thing you're a 49ers fan.
That is very true. Speaking of which, I know it's not a topic, but there is news in L.A. that we're going to get an NFL team, and the Raiders is actually at the top of the list. I think it's the Raiders, the Rams, and some other squad. So.
Well, all the Lakers and USC fans will be happy that the Raiders are coming back to LA if that happens, because they all seem to share the same fans. Like the hub of is there Dodgers, Lakers, USC, and Raiders fans.
Yep.
They're all the same. They got the same fans.
They do.
Pretty much.
They're all crazy, hostile, and talk out of their necks. So.
Wait a minute. Okay.
Not to generalize.
not to generalize. Okay, where can we find you guys till next time?
You can find me at CharlotteB_TV or CharlotteBroadbentTV.com.
You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at HeyKevinJohn or at your local sports bar come NFL season.
And you can find me with Kevin at a local sports bar watching Monday Night Football, because we'll be doing Monday Night Football here. You can also find me at Club Thaddeus on Twitter and Instagram and GQ.Jedi.com. Until next time, sports fans.
From producers Maria Menounos, Dario Kristen, Tiana Hobson, Kevin Undergaro, and the entire BHL crew, we would like to thank you for supporting Black Hollywood Live, the first online broadcast network dedicated to African American entertainment. For questions and comments, contact us at info@blackhollywoodlive.com. Like us on Facebook, tweet us, or Instagram us at BHL Online. And I'm your BHL announcer, Scipio. Instagram me at Planet Scipio. Thank you for tuning in.
Hollywood redefined.
Go.
The views expressed here are those of the host only and do not necessarily reflect the views of BHL or its owners or principals.
Thanks for watching Black Hollywood Live on YouTube. For more in-depth interviews and news, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion in the comment section below here. See you soon, everyone. Bye.